Hi, thanks for watching. So today I'm really excited to film this video because it's about a success story. And this video goes out to all those people, all those women who think, dating's kind of hopeless, no men are good or no good men are out there, or that it might take months or even years to meet someone, because in reality, it only takes weeks, 5 weeks, if you really put in the work, as per the story I'm gonna tell you. So I worked with a client named Nicole, and 5 weeks ago, Nicole was, really frustrated with dating, and she was just over it. And she didn't really know what she was doing wrong, but she kept attracting all these nice men who were emotionally unavailable. So these men were good in the sense that they showed her the attention and the affection in the beginning, but the moment she wanted something more, they kind of just backed off for whatever reasons. And she had no idea what she was doing wrong. And I don't know if you can relate, but I can totally relate to this when I was single. And so what she really needed was someone to look at her blind spots to see what she couldn't see. And in just 5 weeks, her love life has just changed. Last time I saw her, she was happy, she was beaming. I knew that something had happened because she just looked so happy. You know that glow people get when they've met someone or they're in love, or in the beginning stage of the relationship where it's really exciting. Well, she had that, and then she told me that she met a really nice guy, and this is the type of guy that she never really attracted before. Someone who was really serious, on the same page, wanted the same things, and this stuff doesn't happen out of coincidence. These are the 5 things that she did. I'm just going to refer to my notes. So 1 was she got really clear on what she wanted, and this sounds so cliche, but what she specifically did was she mapped out what she wanted versus what she needed. So sometimes what you want could be a guy with a really good career, or a guy who's really passionate about certain sports. Those are superficial things. They don't make you happy in the long term. So that's an example of a want. What she needed was a guy who always showed that he was there for her, a guy who was always emotionally available and supportive. So a guy who made her feel secure about the relationship all the time. So that was what she really needed, and she didn't know this. And it explains why she was so unhappy with all the guys that she was seeing, because they just weren't giving that to her. So even though on a surface level they had so many things in common, on a deeper level there was not much substance there. And when there isn't much substance there, it's hard for a relationship to really flourish and take off. So no, that was number 1. She got really clear on what she wanted. Number 2 was she managed expectations around dating. So there's this thing, commitment. Men and women have different commitment timelines. When 2 people start dating, the women tend to just want things to happen right away. So without knowing if a guy is really for her, good for her in the long term, they just kind of say, right, he could be it, I'm gonna work on this one. And so they invest thinking that it's a relationship already, when it's not. And guys, on the other hand, are different. Months 1 to 3, they're just dating to see if what you have together has long-term potential. Doesn't mean you're his girlfriend. So it's really managing the expectations around that, because for a woman, if you don't hear from a guy every single day, and if they don't start acting like your boyfriend, we have a tendency to panic. But there's nothing to panic about, because you're just dating. And in the dating stages, you're really just getting to know one another. So that was another thing, because if we manage her expectations, then we can manage her anxiety around dating and when it was going to happen for her. The third thing we did was we let the guy take the lead. So in her and I chatting, I found out that she had a tendency to take the lead in a relationship. And this was the kind of person who wanted a guy to take the initiative, to plan the dates, and to pursue her. And that's totally fine if that's what she wants and that's what you want too. But you have to give the guy space to chase you. And a lot of the times, I think we have a tendency, I'm impatient in general. So, example, when I was single, if a guy hadn't, done something or pursued me a certain way, I would kind of make excuses and say, oh, maybe he's just busy, I'm going to ask him out. And that was the wrong thing for me to do, because I really wanted to be pursued, and I wanted the guy to take the lead. So that's what we did with her. We realized when she had the tendency to overcompromise what her date wasn't doing, and worked at what we can do to prompt him, to encourage him to take the lead. Another thing we did was deal with the anxiety that comes in dating. And this is so important and so relevant for those who are in the late 20s and early to mid 30s. Single shame is a real thing. You know, I still remember when I was in my late 20s and early 30s, I come from an Asian background, and all my relatives were just so concerned about me being single, like worried about me being alone forever, and it was a genuine concern. And when you have that added by, you know, your Facebook feed, everyone's getting married and having babies, it's very real. And when you date with a place of anxiety, you ooze like desperate vibes, and guys can pick up on it, and in, you know, your body language, the things you say, and they run the other way because they have this idea that you're just dating them because you want to settle down, not because you really like them. So a lot of bad things happen. Like you attract a lot of negative energy and low-level relationships when you date from a place of anxiety, is what I'm trying to say. Trust me, I've done it before. So once we tamed her anxiety, we figured out to do that. We figured out what her trigger points were. So when she felt the most anxious, and we, you know, found solutions to help her cope with that anxiety so that it didn't show up so much when she was dating and meeting new people. The last thing we did was we worked on creating connection with guys in between dates. And this is so important in the early stages of dating because, you know, you've got one date and your date might be seeing other people, and you want to create that connection in between the dates so that you get the feeling of, oh, I can't wait to see the person again. And also you're getting to know them in between so that you've got something to talk about in the next date. So we worked on that and things like flirting, texting, you know, banter, being playful, and all that stuff. And in 5 weeks, she was able to attract a really great guy in her life. So all she did was mindset work. She learned how to communicate, she learned how to set boundaries, and how did she do this? She took my mindset makeover course, and she had 4 weeks of one-on-one coaching, so we had 4 sessions. So if that's something you're interested in, I'll leave some links below, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, leave me a comment. If there's anything you want me to cover, just email me at Iona, IONA, at 30everafter.com. Thanks for watching. See you.